Villaviers, what's up? This is John Villarreal. I'm head here for Conservative New Media in front of the San Ramon Marriott, and we're covering the East Bay Freedom Fighters Christmas party, conservative Christmas party. We're going to talk to Chuck DeVore. We're going to talk to a lot of different candidates. We're going to see what's going on here at the ground zero for conservative action in Contra Costa County. Check it out.
Yours today, 16 days.
And the Center for Disease Control now says #1 health risk to Americans, Nancy Pelosi. Not only is she dangerous, she looks damn scary too, doesn't she? Oh my God. Who did her makeover? This old house? Please. What the heck happened? No, please. Whatever they were doing, it looks like in the middle of it, they put her on hold and never came back. A lot of people are getting stuff done now, right? A lot of men are getting plastic surgery. Did you ever get plastic surgery? Well, think about it.
It's great to be here. I'd like to start off by saying I'm Chuck DeVore and I'm running against Barbara Boxer. I absolutely love it when we have a wireless mic, and the reason why is I always speak extemporaneously. I don't need a teleprompter. Yeah. So as I'm driving around the state of California, the thing that motivates me is the fact that I believe we have government to secure our liberties. And that so many people today, frankly in both parties, but mainly in the other party, mainly with the Democrats, they've forgotten this. And it sometimes befuddles me as to how you can forget this, because it's so simple. It was written down for us by our forefathers in the preamble of the Declaration of Independence. That's where you get the purpose of government from. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. And what you see there is that the founders thought that the purpose of government was to give us an environment from which we could pursue happiness. Today, it seems that far too many of our leaders, in both parties sadly, believe that the purpose of government is to somehow provide us happiness with money borrowed from China. And I don't think that that's sustainable. I mean, even if you wanted to do it, even if you thought it was a good idea, what is going to happen with $1 trillion budget deficit strung together for a decade? What impact will that have on our economy and our children? I have two daughters. They're 18 and 12 years old. If we do not stop what Obama and Pelosi and Boxer and Reid are trying to do to us, if we don't stop it next year, the implications for my daughters are staggering, because what it means is that because the Chinese want their money back with interest, that $1 trillion a year over 10 years will grow with interest to $20 trillion. And you apportion that among people who work, and that is roughly $200,000 of additional debt for every person who's working in this nation. And imagine what would happen in your family budget if you had another $200,000 of debt that you had to carry and pay principal and interest on. Imagine the impact that that would have. That's what keeps me motivated in getting out there day after day after day, going around the state of California and trying to connect with people and help them understand that 2010 may very well be the last year that we can take things back and still have an economy afterwards. Now, very briefly, there are three things going on right now that tell me that 2010 is going to be different in this state than it was in the three previous elections that Barbara Boxer won. Two of the three I can't control. One of them is the national economy and the opinion that our fellow Americans and Californians have of our president. We now see that the president has a lower approval rating at this point in his presidency than any presidency in modern history. Now, I figured that this would happen over a year ago when I declared for this seat. You could see it coming. but I knew that I had to invest the time and effort for over a year ahead of normal because I'm neither a billionaire nor a celebrity. You can just see by looking at me that I have the perfect face for radio. And so, you got to work with the assets you have. And so we've just been putting in a lot of hard work and trying to use some innovation, and we'll talk about that in a second. The second factor that augurs well for us in this state is uniquely a California problem. You've heard it said that for better or for worse, things that start in California will often go to the rest of the country, right? And they're often for worse these days. Forbes magazine says California has the 50th worst combination of taxes and regulatory policies of any state in the country. About a month ago, I was speaking to a group of Republican women federated, and someone piped up and said, "Don't you mean we're 57th?" Well, no, we don't have 57 states, President Obama, but if we did, we would be 57th here in California, but we only have 50, so we're still 50. Now, it may be unfair to Barbara Boxer to put the blame for her on this because she's never been a state lawmaker, she's never been governor. But politics is often not about fairness. Okay. And the fact is that her ideological allies in Sacramento are the people who have enacted these tax and regulatory policies, right? Right. And so here we have California, where we are now losing 3,000 productive tax-paying citizens every week to places like Texas, where U-Haul differential rates are something like 6 to 1. In other words, you pay like $600 for a U-Haul out of the state and $100 for one coming in. You can kind of tell what's happening by the differential rates on U-Haul. You add that to the fact that California, with 1/8 of the nation's population, has 1/3 of the nation's welfare recipients. Did you know that? 32%. We have 32% of the nation's welfare caseload. Now, lest you think that this is merely a problem of illegal immigration, Texas, with a longer border than we have, and quite a few illegal immigrants, has 1/10 of the people on welfare as do we. And if you adjust for per capita in number of people, we have 7.1 times more people on welfare in this state than does Texas. The reason why? Best benefits, no fraud enforcement, lowest eligibility criteria. We don't enforce the 5-year work requirement under the Historic Welfare to Work Act enacted by Congress under Bill Clinton after he vetoed it 2 or 3 times. So we're in a mess here in California. Now, we've been trying to do a few things to clean it up. Some of you may be aware that we almost opened up the first new offshore oil lease in California in 40 years. Almost. It passed the state Senate, and it would have generated about 450 jobs just in the oil field alone, and would have kicked in a $1.8 billion from the state economy. How many of you knew that that was my bill? Oh, it was my bill. So we got the federal or the national economy, we have the state economy, and the third thing, which I can more or less control, is the type of campaign that I'm trying to run. And because I'm not a billionaire or a celebrity, and I've got ideas, and I have principles, and I believe in liberty and the Constitution, I thought that what would be an interesting concept is instead of going around the state meeting with a bunch of wealthy people trying to get $2,400 contributions to save it up and then dump it all on TV and radio in the last couple of weeks, which is kind of a losing playbook these days for Republicans, I thought instead of doing that, what if we stole a page from Barack Obama's playbook? What if we looked at how it was that Barack Obama took the Democratic nomination from Hillary Clinton, someone that people thought was definitely going to be the nominee of the Democrats? She had all the money and all the best consultants that the early 1990s technology could buy. She ran an early 1990s campaign, and she was transcended by Barack Obama. And so what we did is we looked very carefully at what Barack Obama did in the early stages before he started getting a lot of contributions. And we found that he had a very sophisticated use of social networking tools like Twitter and Facebook. In fact, he hired some of the people that created Facebook. He hired some of the people behind the Howard Dean I Have a Scream campaign in 2004. Okay. He made very innovative use of tools like YouTube. And, well, that's old-fashioned politics. You're getting a little ahead of me over there. But the internet, Al Gore's invention. Yeah. And I figured as a conservative, what better thing to do than to exact a little pain and revenge on Al Gore than to use his own invention against what he believes in. In fact, about a month and a half ago now, Barbara Boxer sent out a fundraising appeal signed by Al Gore in which he attacked me by name for opposing his global warming scheme. How's that for an endorsement?